Yo, it's me again, listeners. I'm your host, Gregg Everman, and this is Universe Immersion. So yeah, we're now continuing the story of Lady Lunafreya of the House of Tenebrae. We began this conversation yesterday, and we'll be finishing it up today. This is the storyline that Universe Immersion is presenting exclusively for episode Lunafreya. So where were we here? I think we were... Okay, so... oh yes, So we had just finished the part where Lunafreya had, okay, so... we had just finished the part where... hold on, listeners. We've got a problem. Problem solved. The Universe Immersion wheel is under attack, but through the valiant efforts of the janitorial staff, the crisis has been averted. As you remember, Damian and Lunafreya were on foot. They approached the gate. The gate which leads to the territory of Cleane, and Lunafreya met Gantiana, who gave her the trident, which can summon the astrals. One moment, listeners, I completely forgot to turn my music on beforehand. Can't have no game without music, as we all know. Just takes a minute to get to it here. It's in alphabetical order. I'm going to Cindy the music, not the character. The character was anything but perfect, and was there for less than perfect reasons. Yes. Oh, gracious! It's loud. Woo! But I love it anyway, listeners. This is Universe Immersion, Lady Lunafreya, Part 2. So, Deputy High Commander Artifact Van Thiel, you remember that guy, the failure, the guy who fails at life. Deputy High Commander Artifact Van Thiel is relieved of command by an infuriated Emperor Idealis Aldercopt. I'm allergic to losers. After days of searching to Sky with no findings of either Prince Noctis or Lady Lunafreya, he was relieved of duty, and Emperor Idealis Aldercopt places in charge Ravus Nox Fleuret, because he's already been doing a good job capturing Glaives and Crownsguard and other important people. I'm thinking maybe even Corleonis, but I'm still looking for an outlet for that. Corleonis maybe is captured but doesn't talk or something like that. So Ravus uses his newfound power to double his search for his sister. Now, during the hunt, he discovers from a concerned farmer that lightning has begun to appear in abundance in the north. Yeah, so normally just a trivial detail, but Ravus, being of the blood of the Oracle, knows what this means. His sister is about to arouse the Astrals, including the Thunder Astral, Ramu. So he relays this information at once to the Emperor in Versailles Basifia. He demands that he be given an attack force capable of destroying these Astrals when they arise from their slumbers. That's how the Astrals work. One moment, listeners. Good. Spies everywhere. They're all around the Universe Immersion mobile, waiting to strike. Okay, so, So Ravus is given the attack force. Um, Now he seeks to protect his sister from the wrath of the Astrals because he knows that especially Titan and Leviathan in particular are very wrathful Astrals, and when people attempt to summon them, it usually doesn't go too well. A little bit of astral crushing human action. um, One moment, listeners, the universe of Immersion mobile is driving me nuts. I gotta turn it off. Yeah. Oops. Sick of fighting it. Ugh. Alright, here we go. The Emperor agrees to Ravus's plan. I'm fighting wires here. Okay. Alright. So the Emperor agrees and sends Ravus at the helm of a giant attack wing to the pit of Shiva, the Astral of Ice, the Glacian, to slay her. Now, Shiva is Gentiana, of course, and she's already been awakened a long time ago. Maybe she even woke herself up. When I say awakened, I kind of mean like brought into the existence of Eos. Not, yeah, they kind of have more of a spiritual existence. So, Ravus and his fleet attack and slay the Glacian through means spoken of in the game. So one astral out of 6 is now down. So Luna and Damian travel first to Ramu, Astral of Thunder. He's a kind and concerned astral, not like his brothers and sisters, or at least some of them, and he agrees with Lunafreya to aid Prince Noctis without much complaint. He actually kind of admires Lunafreya's bravery. The spies are back. He gives her, he tells her that he'll agree to give Noctis his power after a certain trial happens, and his isn't even that hard. If you've played the game, you just have to go to a few trees and suck the lightning out of them. So she and Damian leave then. They haven't noticed that one of Ravus' spies watched their every move. That spy reports back to the new High Commander Ravus, who then comes to the town not far from where Ramu was summoned. Now, Luna and Damian had just finished purchasing another car to replace the one cool one that got busted up, when 3 Magitech engines show up at the small town, fully prepared to grab her. Half of the time I have it spelled Damian, and half of the time Damien. I don't even know what it is. I forget now. When I say me, I mean my publisher and my editor weren't on the same page, it seems. Wow. Relieve another couple losers of duty. Let me see. Okay, so Luna and Damian hop in the car and they rush out of town. I think it's Damian. We'll call it. Has to be Damian. Yeah, it's Damian. Yeah. I don't know what's up with those 2 losers in the booth back there. No, they've got no idea what they're trying to do. So Luna and Damian speed out of town. The 3 Magitech engines follow. Now Damian drives the car off-road. The 3 engines follow again. So they're driving off-road for a bit. He pulls out his rifle while she drives and attempts to shoot them down, but it's a pointless attempt. I mean, Magitech engines don't go down easy. In the game, you only take out a few of them total, and that's only by getting on board and blowing up the power cores. So eventually their car crashes beneath the arches and ruins... and runs into the rocks. Ruins into the rocks. The engines drop MTs, and a Niflheim off-roader after them. Now, thanks to the power of Luna's staff to summon the Astrals, Ramu appears and fells the 3 Magitech engines. The MTs are dealt with by she and Damian as they one by one enter a small entrance in a cave the 2 of them are hiding in. So they just kind of pick them off as they come in. MTs aren't too bright. So Luna and her guide take the off-roader and drive to Lestalem down the road. It's actually not far away now. An unusually massive Niflheim fortress airship has arrived and is scouring the area. A giant fortress airship. Bigger than even the ones that Titan blows up there in episode Ignis. That was so cool, by the way. I mean, I think episode Ignis is just, you know, the bomb. Honestly, I thought all 3 episodes were good. Episode Gladio was great. Slow and kind of closed world. We didn't do enough, but it was good for what it was trying to do. Then episode Prompto, oh, but I thought the gameplay was stupid. Well, I mean, the gameplay was a little silly. I don't really know what they were doing, but I mean, it was just so good, right? I mean, the storyline was just killer. Prompto was great. Even Aranea was okay. You know, she wasn't as bad as she was in those stupid pretty boy parts of the campaign. Man, you know, that's like the most cringy moment in all of 15's campaign. And then, well, episode Ignis. Okay, episode Ignis. Okay, scratch that alternate ending. Once again, I don't know what the designers were doing with that type of nonsense, but I mean, apart from that, it was really good, though. I mean, the gameplay, you were like felt like Spider-Man ziplining all over the place. And then, you know, Ignis's powers are pretty well put together. I would have preferred like some sort of ordering system where you have to like arrange the evacuations in Altissia and stuff like that. That's what I was kind of hoping for, but you know, I kind of didn't mind what they ended up giving you. Okay, listeners, we are 12 minutes into the interview, and the tune I'm listening to now is Crystalline Chill. It's time to chillax with some Crystalline Chill. Alright, back to the story. So Damien uses a few connections to secure a hotel for the night, and he's pretty convinced that they're safe in Listala. He thinks that the Empire wouldn't, they didn't even see them go, and even if they did, they won't bust down the entire town. But unfortunately, he's wrong. That night, Ravus and his most elite troopers rushed through the town, overturning and destroying everything in their wake in their rapid search. They're just like pushing over crates and pushing people out of the way, you know, grabbing people and, you know, making sure they're not Luna or anything like that. So Luna wakes up as two troopers break down her door. She tries grabbing her staff, but they knock it away and grab her. Now Damien bolts in, tackles them off her, and yells at her to run. Just as she backs into the doorway, her brother appears and seizes her tightly. Now Lunafreya is dragged away onto an awaiting Magitech engine. Damien, beaten and bloody, drags himself aboard the last Magitech engine out and hides. He can do nothing to save her, but he does have her trident in his hand, though. He grabbed that. A little later, High Commander Ravus takes Lunafreya back to his massive fortress airship. Can't shake this cough. Wait a minute. There is a GFL truck right in front of me right now. They call it green for life, but that's just what they want you to think. Now, as the vessel, the giant fortress airship, flies toward the disk of Kothis, the disk that they're always bragging about how on fire it is. He tries to convince Lunafreya to give up this mad scheme and let Noctis fall into their hands. Now, she asks him why he's going to Kothis at one point. It seems kind of a strange place. Titan's there. Everyone knows Titan's there. To slay Titan, he responds. To free you of your burden. Now, I'm not even going to try too hard to impersonate Lunafreya because being a dude, it's not exactly as easy as all that to impersonate a goyle. So, she says, Ravus, you cannot do this. The Astrals are necessary for the rise of the true Lord of Eos. And she says, it is Noctis and not your Emperor Aldercopt. Now, in front of his MTs, he replies, of course the Emperor is not the true Lord of Eos, but it is not your boy either, Lunafreya. Then she replies to him, hang on, the music has turned on me. I think yeah, good. Yeah. So, Lunafreya replies to him, the kings of old refused you, brother. Do not believe that you are the one destined to liberate our star. And he smiles as the ship nears the disk of Kothis. He plays with the ring of the Lucii in his hand for a moment. He stole it from her, of course, when they grabbed her. Then he looks out the viewport. Once I have slain the 6 astrals, the kings will have no choice but to accept me as the liberator of our star. He turns to face her. And I will liberate it, sister. Eos will be purified by my hand. The son of King Regis is nothing but a spoiled boy, and worthy of none of your love. To believe he would risk the great perils of summoning the astrals to his side, accepting his fate, and in the end dying for Eos is beyond absurdity, Lunafreya. Accept the fact that this is an impossibility. Just gotta check for spies and stuff like that. Radio show broadcasting is a dangerous thing. I don't advise it to anybody. It's creepy. So she says to him, "You are wrong about Noctis." She comes over to stare at him. She's not tied up or anything. He doesn't really fear her, I guess. His heart is not empty and void as yours has become. He will prove to all, and to you, Ravus, that he is the king prophesied of old to banish all evil. You must accept that. And then he replies, waving her away, "Foolish girl." He's calling her a girl, not even sister or anything. Then he says, "General, prepare the Magitech cannon. Target the astral holding up that disc and kill it." "Targeted, sir." So the mighty vessel lowers its huge cannon and fires at Titan. The astral takes the blow hard in its side and almost drops the meteor. Now that meteor is, he's been holding it up for a long time. Suddenly Damian rushes into the bridge, knocking over 2 Magitech soldiers. "Hey, miss!" he shouts, throwing the staff at Luna. I've got Kuna written down. Someone else is gonna get fired. Ravus tries to yank Luna away, but the staff ends up in her hand nevertheless. "Titan!" she screams with the strong voice of her mother before he can rip it away. Titan groans inside the crater. He pulls away from the next shot, which detonates behind him, destroying what was once a grand burial chamber for an olden king. "Lead in!" Titan reaches out an arm and the mountain beneath the... Sorry, tongue twister. Now Titan reaches out an arm and the mountain beneath the mighty fortress airship erupts into its lower hull. Just... "No!" Ravus roars, but holds out the staff. He holds out the staff through the shattered window. "Return to your slumber, you mad beast!" he shouts. Luna grabs the staff and tries to pull it away. Ravus attempts to throw her off, but she holds fast. Titan hits the ship again. Everyone aboard is hurled to the floor. A third hit detonates an engine. The ship begins careening towards the crater around the disk of Kothis. The mighty fortress airship is coming down. Titan punches off its other engine as it swoops past. You know, we've seen him do stuff like that in episode Ignis. Now Luna has the staff somehow and leaps off the Magitech ship with Damian. Why can I never get that one? They roll down a steep incline towards Titan, who looks anything but pleased to see them. So he seizes Damian, but Luna escapes into a volcanic cave. The vessel crashes with a thunderous explosion not far from Luna. So that's the end of that giant Magitech Shiva-killing ship. She rushes through the cave as Titan drives his massive hand into it. She barely makes it out before he would have killed her. Now then she starts using the power of her staff to prevent him from slaying her as she flees. Kind of like how she prevented Leviathan from swallowing her whole. Every time he attempts to crush her with his enormous palm, she holds out the staff, and he doesn't want to destroy the staff for whatever reason. Damian is still a prisoner in Titan's other hand, though. Now, Lunafreya sees Ravus approaching her. A lot of charcoal on him, and looks like he's been through a crashing ship, you know. looks like he got baked in an oven. So Lunafreya sees Ravus approaching her. "Sister, wait!" he cries as she rushes up a stone column to stand before the might of Titan. "Titan, release him at once!" she shouts at the astral. Lunafreya! Ravus shouts, rushing after her. Titan rears back his arm and lashes out at her. Just as his fish. Allergies. Just as his fist nearly strikes, Ravus snatches the trident from her hand, leaps at the fist, and stabs it. I think we should cut off to a commercial break here, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? A little something from our sponsors at General Motors. Bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba boo 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 boo. General Motors, we love you. Do 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 do. Buy a GM4 on 0% purchase financing and get a free ride home when it breaks down. And that was a word from our sponsors at General Motors Corporation. Kind of catchy, that. Now, so Titan withdraws his hand as Ravus's spear strikes it. Yes. He seizes Ravus with his hand. He then throws him at his sister, who doesn't attempt to dodge, and together they are thrown down the steep slope behind them until they roll to the ground. Yes. Now, Lunafreya grabs her trident again and makes her way back up the hill. No! Abandon this madness! Ravus screams, unable to rise through exhaustion and pain. He just took a big one, right? She looks back to him and shakes her head in refusal. And then she says, across the chasm at Titan, Titan, you will hear my words. He grabs a half of the Niflheim vessel in his hand and throws it over her head, attempting to scare her away. Now she holds her ground. She's not going to back down from this. The true king of Eos has come to claim your power. You will hear his plea. And if he proves himself worthy of it before you, how then can you refuse him his right? Titan utters curses at her in his foreign language. She responds, Already 2 of your kind have given Noctis, Lucius, Kylam their power, Shiva and Ramu. Who are you to place yourself above them? Now he seizes Damien in the palm of his hand and holds him out to her. And then he starts talking in that kind of weird way of his. Silence, worm! I am Titan. Is that not enough? He roars in his language, pulling Damien back. My power is for myself. Those who think to claim it die like this insect. Now he hurls Damien into the rock wall not far from her. Luna puts a hand to her face and rushes down to him. His breathing is raspy and his eyes try to close when she reaches him. Now, she cries, No, no, and places her hand on his head. Using her powers of the Oracle, she revives him just before he would have died. I could try to impersonate her saying that, but my voice box is getting a little tired today. And so Damien's breathing returns to normal and he coughs. We're even for saving each other's lives now, he says. Whoa, watch out for Ugly. She rolls over and they both jab her trident upward to stop Titan's crushing fist. The Astral pushes down on the trident and they're helpless to stop him. Slowly, the trident's coming down on them. Probably getting pushed into the ground. Just quick eye out for spies. Okay, we're good. So, Ravus rushes over and stabs the hand that's pushing down on the trident with King Regis' sword. Using the sword, he helps push the hand back up until Titan finally withdraws it. Now, Titan! Luna shouts as loud as she can. Again, her mother's strong voice comes through. The young king will show you of his potential. He will prove to you that he is the king spoken of in prophecy. To slay his oracle cannot change that. You must believe. Titan doesn't attack them another time. He just peers at her with those big kind of black eyes. You are deceived, Lady Lunafreya of Tenebrae, he says to her. Your love for him blinds you to the truth. No, she shakes her head. It is because I love him that I know of his true worth. It has been 12 years since last I saw him, and yet the boy I knew... She clasped her hands together. That boy was unlike any other I've ever met. In him there was a great quarrel between good and evil, weakness and strength, and yet always did he favor the good, and always fought the battle bravely. She looks up to Titan. If my eyes were deceived, Archaean, then I pray you to strike me from your sight. But if they were true, then you too have seen what I saw, and you know that I am right about him. Titan stays silent for a long moment. Finally, he draws back from them into his crater. Your argument is valid, Lady Lunafreya, Princess of the House of Tenebrae. I will summon the young man here in answer to your plea. Uh-oh, there's a really bad tune playing on the headset. Don't panic. It's good for the part, but not really that good for much else. I don't really like the Flying Regalia tune. Golden Key. Golden Key's good. We'll go with that. Uh-oh, we have a problem, listeners. Seems there's been a disturbance in the universe of Immersion revealed. The staff is trying to get a union going. Can't have that, can we? I'd have to start paying them if that happened. Obviously we're still running. I understand that, but this is important stuff. Wait a minute. How did I have to try to find what music I was... Oh yes, I was playing, of course, the Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack. Oh yes, of course. Stand By Me. Alright, we're going with that. Stand By Me is the credits song, which they tried to play at the royal wedding for Prince and Kate. Harry and that American weirdo. So Titan says to Lunafreya, your argument is valid, Lady Lunafreya, Princess of the House of Tenebrae. I will summon the young man here in answer to your plea. So she bows. Thank you, Archaean. We leave you in peace. Now turning to Ravus, she says, do you believe now, brother? What is there to believe? He responds. Your foolish saying, or the equally foolish saying of a deranged astral. He turns and begins to limp off. Before he's gone, though, he turns his head slightly towards them. If, however unlikely, your pathetic prince makes it as far as you have. He tosses her the ring of the Lucii. You may pass that on to him, and then we shall see who is truly worthy of it. He leaves. That was strange, but interesting. Lunafreya and Damian leave the Disc of Kothis by another way a little while later. We're almost done, listeners. Settle down. Well, Princess, Damian says as they walk down a long stretch of road, leaning on one another for support. Now I guess we wait for your man to show up and then watch the fireworks happen. No, she shakes her head. From here I set it for Altissia to summon the Hydrian. No doubt Ravus knows of this and will make every move to stop me, but I will try nonetheless. The Hydrian? The stone-hearted goddess of the seas? He demands from her. Lady, if you thought Titan was bad, you haven't seen nothing yet. Leviathan will kill you the moment you set foot on her altar to receive her. That is possible, she replies slowly. It actually says responded slowly, but that's wrong. Again, the editors. Then she continues. But for Noctis, it is worth it, Damian. If only for Noctis it is worth even my very life, and I give it without reservation and with gladness in my heart. Eventually he has to nod. I'll go with you. You need a good bodyguard. No, you mustn't, she replies. In Altissia I will have protection from elsewhere. Perhaps even the Empire will... This Stand By Me track is messing up my rhythm. I love you, but you're messing me up. Maybe it's just too loud. Yeah. Technical issues, of course. Every radio show has them. I mean, if you watch any TV station, they're constantly playing with wires and fumbling throughout their mobiles. So she replies to Demian, no, you mustn't. In Altissia I will have protection from elsewhere. Perhaps even the Empire will grant me their protection if only to summon and slay the Tide Mother. Sounds to me like you're just trying to avoid getting me killed again, he says, smiling. She takes his hand and gives it a squeeze. Perhaps that is so. I am very fond of you, dear Damien. But if this world could only see you to the peace which is soon coming, that I could be content with. Even in my and my beloved's death. Later on she says to him, there is much life ahead of you, Damien. This is some days later. They're at a bus stop in New Lestalem and she is preparing to leave on a ship for a nearby harbour in Altissia. So she's going to Altissia now. I beg you to live it and prosper well. Farewell to you and thank you forever for all you have done for me. I am forever in your debt. He grins. Remember that if you make it to the great beyond before me, I'll need your prayers, Oracle. Now, as Lunafreya's vessel is drawing away, Damian shouts, Long live the Queen of Eos, Oracle of the House of Tenebrae! Hail to the Queen! She smiles and waves to him. Soon the ship is out of sight. Altissia is its destination. Luna will face many more struggles there, she knows this. But she's ready to face them now. She's ready to live and, if necessary, to die for what she believes in. Be with me in this next struggle, she pleads to Nyx, her mother, and King Regis above her in the sunny sky. I need you. She almost sees the face of Nyx in one of the clouds, almost recognizable up there. She breathes one last word before the credits roll. Thank you. And that's all she wrote, folks. Just gotta make sure this thing is still up and running here. It's giving me a blank screen. Yeah, it's running. So not as long as yesterday's presentation, which was pretty long. A lot of laughing going on by the second production unit, post-production unit. So, this is the end of episode Lunafreya. I'm also planning on doing a radio show for a new episode I've got coming, episode Aranea. We'll see if it works out. I mean, Aranea is such a shallow character who's just put there to make dudes who are watching go, oh, look at that, it's that, that lady who's always punching people and kicking stuff, and, I've got the eyes of an eagle for any spies who are watching. Anyways, let me tell you, people are always going, Aranea, she's so great, I like the fact she's always pummeling people. It's nothing to that type of character. She's just shallow. There's really nothing to her. I mean, they were trying to get a little more to her in episode Prompto, I thought. Plus she dresses like a loser. I mean, holy smokes. Have you ever seen something so pathetic? Yeah. Cindy. Oh, that was pathetic. Oh, that was bad. And then, even worse than her, Shiva. Yeah, the Shiva there. That cinematic that they play in, like, the train? It's a revised cinematic. Wasn't in the original release. But when Nox in a train, he gets Shiva appears to him and freezes Arden and all that. And then she goes into this long, involved cinematic about her and Ifrit, the Astral of Fire. She's the Glacian, he's the Infernian. Yeah, the Infernian. Um, I'm telling you that cinematic would have been good. It's pretty emotional and stuff. You just got like this, this nude person talking away, and it's just so bad. Maybe I just. Come on. Let's stop trying to appeal to just the base humanity in people. Let's actually just keep the good stuff rolling. 15 had a lot of good stuff. Why do you have to appeal to all the base loser stuff? Like come and get it, dudes. There's 3 or 4 people who dress so bad. Just lousy. Their wardrobe doesn't include anything. Yeah, boy, I tell ya. But anyways, so Aranea was kind of one of those. Honestly, she just looked like an idiot. She didn't fit in with any art style at all. But in episode Prompto, they gave her a new costume, and okay, it was still a little ridiculous. But at least it looked more of the part. So anyway, so this costume, that's kind of what I always imagine Aranea is, that one, not that other stupid one that she wears in the main campaign. By the way, so what I'm doing is I'm making episode Aranea, which is probably going to focus on her story, in her story just before the beginning of 15's campaign, probably even just before the beginning of Kingsglaive. It's like based probably about 3 years ago, before the start of the main game. And in this one, Aranea is doing a lot of stuff. She and Prompto were talking about her events, which happened during the what did they call the plague? The Niflheim plague. It was called like the something plague. Not the geostigma. Geostigma was cool, but it was called something else. Anyways, yeah, it was something about that. Whatever it was called. During this time of the plague, she's one of the commanders of a bunch of legionnaires or whatever, and they're attempting to do something or other that I'm still working on. In the meantime, Aranea, there's this guy amongst the a Niflheim scouting squad who Aranea doesn't like, but she starts kind of getting a crush on the guy. And we'll see what happens after that. So, that is all for today, folks. And I hope you enjoyed episode Lunafreya from beginning to end. If you haven't seen the first video, see the first video. Yeah. And, yeah, that's about all for today, I guess. So, we'll be signing off here after just showing you around the Universe Immersion maybe a little bit. Well, there's it's a radio show, so you don't really show around, but it's got roll down windows, and it's like a 2000 something Chevy truck. It's kind of like this kind of boaty thing. It's kind of like this it's kind of like this thing. It's a thing. It's not cramped or anything. It's not like I'm broadcasting from inside a truck because I'm hiding anything or anything. It's just embarrassing. That's what it is. Yeah, it's embarrassing to be running a radio show, because it's political pressure, right? A lot of political pressure, and yeah, so you maybe also I'm not really the type of person who likes doing something a little weird. So instead of putting a paper bag over my head, I'm coming to you live from the Universe Immersion deal. And also, it's also thanks to the great janitorial staff inside the Universe Immersion mobile. It's always just such a pleasure to be hanging around such clean folk. Yeah, I'll be seeing you down the road. Coming to you live from the Universe Immersion mobile once again. possibly for episode Aranea, but more than likely, actually, I won't be done that for a little while, and I'll be coming to you live with stories from the Warlord universe. I've already posted a very in-depth video about the overall look at the Warlord universe. It's a universe I've been making for about the last 10 years. Yeah, it's actually been quite a while. I started making it, I think, during the golden age of video.